Baseball is back, and at Team Toyota, savings and selection are back too. With tons of new Toyota SUVs, trucks, and hybrids to choose from, and with our lineup of over 200 certified used Toyotas, you can find the right fit for you and your budget. Plus, our service and collision centers are here to get you back in the game in no time. Visit one of our 3 locations in Princeton, Langhorne, or Glen Mills, or online at teamtoyota.net. How we doing? Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into the Phillies Talk podcast presented by Team Toyota. I am McKercher, joined by Sean Kane. And Kaner, we woke up this morning. Well, I woke up a little later. It was a long weekend. Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a late night sleeper, late early.
Yeah, you work a lot of late nights in your defense. It's not like it's your schedule.
This is this time where it's one of those where noon is a good wake up time.
Yes,
for me.
Well, that's God bless.
It's not great. It's not great. Well, that will change as we get a little older.
Right. But, yep. I can attest.
Yeah.
The wake up times get a little earlier as you move through your 30s into your 40s.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. But we woke up to a wild Jeff Passanbaum that it was funny. I was laying in bed when the article came out, and I like the wordage of the tweet was something like breaking, like Phillies Bryce Harper, and I was like,
right, oh boy,
oh my God, what happened?
Not going to be good news.
Exactly. And then it comes out that this little meeting with MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred got a little heated. So we're gonna start there. Then we'll recap a fun Yankee series. At least the first 2 games were fun. Sunday's game was a good time. Just didn't come away with the sweep.
Right.
Then we got some more news today with Emmanuel Clase, trade deadline stuff.
Yep.
Exactly. So we'll hit it all here, and then obviously get you ready for this White Sox series that starts here today on Monday in Chicago. But yeah, we'll start with this article, man.
Yeah.
What a way to start a Monday, and what a way to start a week, especially a big week with the trade deadline only 3 days away.
Yeah, I didn't have exactly right. Like when I saw the headline, what's this about? And then you see it, you read it. Bryce, who, through the years, from what I've gathered, hasn't been like the most outspoken guy when it comes to, labor issues, which there has been, in baseball over these last decade or so. But obviously something's brewing there with the CBA is going to expire after next season, the 2026.
Yep.
And there's already a lot of skepticism, negativity, like, oh boy, we could be heading to another lockout, strike, whatever, probably a lockout. If things don't get resolved, and they seem to be pretty far apart on a number of issues, and the most prominent of which is, pardon me, sounds like the owners want a salary cap.
Yep.
Baseball is the only major professional sport in North America that doesn't have one. Obviously, the players don't want one. That puts a cap on how much they can earn and how much each team can pay. They think there should probably be a salary floor as opposed to a salary cap. And of course, the owners, it's a way for them to save money and they can pass it off as competitive balance. But anyhow, that's the backstory. And the meat of the article details Rob Manfred, the commissioner, who I guess pays visits to all 30 teams, which I think is great. Like, keep the open lines of communication. Talked about a number of things, but I guess at the forefront was the labor stuff, what's brewing, what the owners are thinking here as we kind of approach the home stretch, the last year and a half of the CBA before negotiations begin for a new one. And Bryce took it upon himself to make it pretty obvious that he wasn't, going to listen to any talk or any insinuation that a salary cap could be coming. And, I'm sure people have read the article by now, but basically told the commissioner of baseball, MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred, to get the bleep out of here.
Yep.
Get the bleep out of our clubhouse.
Yes.
If you're talking about a salary cap. And I guess Manfred said, I'm not going to get the bleep out of here. It's important to talk about this stuff. And Nick Castellanos tried to chime in and kind of play the role of, diffusing the situation. But very interesting. Harper apparently was quiet through a lot of the meeting, was just kind of sitting there taking it all in, and kind of spoke up when the discussion turned to the labor issues and the potential salary cap, and made it pretty obvious that he is not in favor of it. And obviously the vast majority, if not the entire Players Association, probably aren't in favor of it either.
And I am completely okay with this. This is our guy, man.
Yeah.
This has been our guy. You can argue that he's been the face of the league now for coming up on 13 years.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I think he's comfortable enough to confront Rob Manfred like this.
Mm-hmm.
Now going nose to nose and saying, get the bleep out of our clubhouse. bold.
Yeah.
But and you mentioned that Rob is kind of starting to do these things where supposedly this is a new thing after the 2022 deal got done.
Right.
That he wants to kind of get these players well known and talk to some of these guys and figure out what their thoughts and feelings are about things. And at the end of the article, Jeff Passan kind of relayed that Manfred's not really getting a lot of good feedback.
No, I'm sure.
From these guys.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. I don't
Harper
know, man.
said too at one point, if you're insisting on the salary cap, we're prepared to miss 162
Sure.
games. Like we'll cancel the season, or we will sit out the whole season. So not to interrupt, but that kind of just shows you how strongly these players feel about the salary cap and the potential of the salary cap coming to baseball.
Yep. And supposedly as soon as he got up and said that to Manfred's face, Manfred, sources said, responded that he was not going to get the bleep out of here, saying it was important to talk about threats to MLB's business and ways to grow the game. It's interesting too. I think it's so great that Nick Castellanos stepped up. I mean, you're reading the article and all of a sudden it gets Nick Castellanos. He raises his hand. I have more questions. Quotes.
I can picture Harper and Manfred like this in the middle of the clubhouse. And Nick kind of pipes up, "Hey guys, I have a few questions."
Sitting down in his chair,
right?
Kind of like, I'm sure it's probably very casual too. I have more questions. Probably not even looking at the two,
right?
Just to kind of calm the air. And then Nick ends up telling ESPN a bunch. In quote, it was pretty intense, definitely passionate. Both of them, the commissioner giving back to Bryce, and Bryce giving back to the commissioner. That's Harp though. He's been doing this since he was 15 years old. It's just another day. I wasn't surprised. The other quote from Nick Castellanos to ESPN that I thought was very interesting was, in quotes, "In the back of our heads, we're like, why are you talking to us like owning a baseball team is like owning a nail salon?" Castellanos said that you're only going to be a functional business if you can make up the money that you put in this year, ? End of quote.
Right.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, that stuck out to me. Another Castellanos quote that stuck out to me is that Rob must not be getting a lot of good feedback here because 16 months out, he's already talking about a lockout. So,
which is not great.
Which is not great. Yeah. That's not a term you want to hear unless you think it could really happen. And apparently, the owners are dug in on this and they want a salary cap. And it's a big, big issue that could potentially cost them a good chunk of the 27 season. So, we got a long way to go until then, but it doesn't seem very friendly right now between the players, the commissioner, and the owners. And I get it. Rob Manfred wants to try to start these talks and start this communication, but clearly he's getting some pretty firm pushback from the players. And Bryce Harper reportedly, made it pretty obvious that where he stands, where the Phillies stand, and as you said, he's one of the faces of the league, so he's earned the right to do that. 100%. And and I think it's cool too that Bryce has already got paid. He's already got his deal, but I think you can interpret this as he's looking down the road to younger guys coming up. And now if there's a salary cap in place 2 years from now, that's going to impact the amount of money guys can make. So, I think they're looking not only for themselves, but players in the future. And, good for them. I get it from their perspective. And I can see why the owners would want one. Not easy, not going to be. And frankly, if past negotiations between these two are any indication, Correct. It's not going to be friendly regardless of this salary cap issue. Like they've avoided any, major work stoppages. Obviously we had the lockout back a handful of years ago, but
but we still got going in April.
Yeah. And so exactly. But I'm just saying, like, it's not friendly between these two to begin with. No. Tony Clark and Rob Manfred and the owners and the Players Association. So, we'll see how it all plays out, but very interesting that Bryce Harper has become kind of the face of the players not having it when it comes to salary cap talk.
No, and you mentioned so that the collective bargaining agreement will end on December 1st of 2026.
Yep.
So obviously that's winter meeting time. Then obviously that's a month and a half out from spring training and pitchers and catchers reporting, I guess 2 months. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I know it's kind of far down the road, and it is concerning that Rob Manfred has said this already, that, hey, there's a lockout looming. But it is interesting that these guys need to get paid, these younger guys. And the fact that Bryce is kind of looking out for some of these younger guys, it would stink if you all of a sudden you have a salary cap, because stand on the milk box real quick.
Sure.
I mean, to me, this is by far the hardest sport in all 4 major sports, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It just in general, maybe not
in terms of number of games, and the schedule,
correct.
And the length of the schedule,
travel.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. I think actually when the game starts, depending on what position you're playing, like, to me, it's easier to stand out in the outfield for 9 innings than it is to play quarterback in the NFL.
Correct.
Or
for sure.
Whatever. But yes.
But it's just like the length of the season, not really just hard in terms of that. And then you're throwing,
And you're on the road.
Yes.
I mean, for NFL, you're on the road. Your flight leaves Saturday. You're back Sunday after the game.
Correct.
These guys on the road for weeks at a time. If you include spring training, it starts in mid-February. And if you go to the playoffs, I mean, you're talking 8.5 months out of the calendar year. And it's every day. You play the most. And the owners make a ton of money off it because they're getting that many gates to fill their stadiums off of all those games. So the players have a point.
And what was the number here? I was trying to find. It was something like $12 billion, Major League Baseball, like in total revenue last year.
$12 billion.
$12 billion.
Yeah. So as Nick points out, it's not like you're running a nail salon. I think
correct. Yeah, nail salon.
Like you're running a pretty productive business here. But they just clearly the owners want more money, and they're going to point to the fact, well, like the NFL has one, the NBA has one, the NHL has one. Why can't we have a salary cap?
I get it. Yeah. I get it. And here's the thing too with that stuff. I get it's like, oh, the Dodgers. Well, they're spending a lot of money. The Mets are, and even the Phillies are dropping a lot of money. Well, these teams, besides last year when the Yankees and the Dodgers were in the World Series, I mean, you've seen the Royals, you've seen the Orioles, who were bad my entire life. They've come up and made ALCSs. They made the World Series. The Royals won the World Series in 2015. I think there is a lot of parity in baseball. So it's not like these teams that are spending all this money are dominating baseball. The Dodgers only have, 2 World Series in the last 5 years.
Yeah, one of them was COVID.
Yeah,
Two World Series in the last since 1988.
Correct. Exactly. So it's not like they're dropping on $700 million, whatever it is.
Right.
They're still not dominating the game. They're struggling right now as we sit down here on July 28th. But it's one of those things where I don't know if necessarily I get both sides, but especially then like the article mentions too, you got TV deals and national TV deals and the growth of gambling, which we'll transition to here now. So we'll see.
Before we do, you brought up the Dodgers, and just one last thought on this. If you remember when the Dodgers were in town early this season, back in April, Bryce Harper was asked, because there's a lot of people in the offseason like, hey, the Dodgers are just signing everybody. They're already won. Now they're going to, and he was asked, like, what do you think about the narrative that the Dodgers are bad for baseball because they just sign everybody and they just pay everybody? And he flat out said, I think that's loser talk.
Yes.
Like, good for them. Like, I think they should go out and do everything they can to field the best team, and other teams should try to do that, which now, putting the pieces together, like, that's basically Bryce saying, like, good for the Dodgers, and obviously the salary cap would serve to dissuade teams doing that, and the players certainly don't want that. So, interesting now to kind of remember those comments that Bryce, had on the Dodgers, and good for them spend as much money as they can because the players want teams like the Dodgers to spend money on contracts.
And I think that's what makes Bryce so special is that he cares about baseball in general.
Yeah.
He cares about the growth of the game. He cares about everything else. He's had that label where he's selfish and all this stuff. He's not. He's very making sure that everyone in the clubhouse is good. He's making sure that everyone in baseball is good. And that just speaks volumes. So the person that Bryce Harper has become over his 13 years now in the major leagues. So let's transition now. The other big news that breaks at 12:47, about an hour after Passan drops that article, he also drops another bomb that Cleveland Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase has been placed on a non-disciplinary. Oh, Jesus God. Disciplinary.
Yes. Yeah. There it is. Yep.
It's a long day.
Still early for
paid.
You.
It is still early.
Right.
It is still early. Paid leave as part of MLB's sports betting investigation. Now, this is the second Guardians player, not only on the roster, but in the bullpen as well, as Luis Ortiz was suspended for 2 months there, also due to gambling. Obviously, then Jim Bowden just went on foul territory today as well on Monday and said that Clase, everything was leading to Clase getting traded, whether that was the Phillies, the Mets, the Padres, any of those teams that were looking for him. And now he is he's on a paid leave through August 31st.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted Clase. A lot of people wanted Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
We'll get to
talk
that.
About those two specifically.
We'll get to that. But I mean, this is a big deal for the Phillies, just because now I think that the closer market, the bullpen market, it's going to explode now, especially with Felix Bautista hitting the 15-day IL.
Options are dwindling
as well. And I think things are going to heat up in that market now.
Yeah. I mean, two-pronged story, in my opinion, the first of which is just the whole infiltration of gambling into professional sports. Like, we're starting to see more and more of this. The NBA had its issues. Major League Baseball has its issues. I mean, we saw the video of Ortiz throwing those two very questionable pitches. A large amount of money was bet on the first pitch of the third inning to be a ball, and he throws the ball. So very suspicious. Player props can be dicey. If players get kind of compromised, and who knows what's going to come out of this investigation. But that's a big picture thought I have, that the gambling, now that it's on the up and up, allegedly, that at some point these leagues are going to have to deal with players being part of the problem and part of these scandals and part of whatever. So not too surprising there. But as it relates to the Phillies and the trade deadline, yes, Clase was thought to be on the trade market. One of the best bullpen arms on the trade market the Phillies have been linked to. So now, yeah, you can obviously cross him off the list. He's out till at least August 31st, if not longer, so that he will not be traded. And what do the Phillies do? It sounds like bullpen is still priority number one. Obviously, the offense has picked up a little bit here in the last handful of series against the Red Sox and Yankees. I still think they need a bat. But yeah, they're going to address the bullpen, and Clase is not an issue, not an option. And you mentioned Bautista. So now, where do you turn? Where do you go for bullpen help? And the Phillies aren't the only team looking for bullpen help. You mentioned the Mets. You mentioned a couple other teams. So not great for the Phillies' perspective as we sit here 3 days from the deadline. Be interesting to see where they go. Is it Mason Miller? Is it the Minnesota? Is it one of the relievers with Minnesota? Is it one of the relievers in Pittsburgh? There's a handful of names we've heard the Phillies connected with, so we'll see how they go. But Clase would have been nice. Still a young guy, 27 years old, I believe, coming off an all-world season last year. Hasn't been quite as good this year, but still, I think had like a low 3 ERA and 24 saves this year. So certainly a guy a lot of teams would be interested in, and this impacts that big time.
And the Twitter folks, I guess if you want to call them, they went down and found like Clase. So he's thrown 22 pitches this season with an 0-0 count with the bases empty, and 11 of them were uncompetitive, quote quote. And there's video of all 11, and they are
similar to Ortiz's.
Spikes. So it's really interesting. And you mentioned the betting stuff, man. Like MLB has, dude, I saw actually a really funny tweet that was like, oh, he's suspended. Yeah, now if you use the word Clase in your promo code, you get 150. Dude, it's one of those things too that I get it. The sports gambling thing is a thing. However, if you're baseball, like if you're these players, just follow the rules, man. Like it's not. I get it. It probably shouldn't be as promoted as much as it is, but again, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry right now.
Right.
I completely get where baseball's coming from, and if you're Major League Baseball players or if you're an NBA player, like we've seen that. Just follow the rules, man. Like it's not that hard to not place bets, especially like that. It's especially when you're spiking balls 15 feet before the dirt. It's a tough look. So,
and when these large influx of bets come on a very specific,
not great.
Or Luis Ortiz's first pitch of the third inning be like, it's obvious.
What do we do?
Fishy is going on.
What do we do? And if you're the Guardians too, man, like you were probably hoping that you were going to trade this guy and get an Aiden Miller, a Justin Crawford, Mick Abel, somebody to kind of supplement this team, a team that was just in the ALCS last year.
Right.
You were thinking that they could get a lot of stuff. So I'm glad we're not in the Guardians position right now. But it is interesting. So we'll dive into a little trade deadline stuff before we kind of recap that Yanks series. And then we'll dive into the White Sox series here. But all right, Kaner, switching gears real quick. You know why? Football season is quickly approaching. We're about 8 weeks away from the Eagles hosting the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. They'll be raising that beautiful Super Bowl banner. I'm pretty fired up. You have to be too.
Super fired up. Birds coming off the Super Bowl win. NFL season not far away, like you said. I'm excited. I'm ready to see the Eagles defend that Super Bowl trophy. Should be a fun year.
Oh, it's going to be a fun year. And you know what else is always fun? Our friends at Phillies Sports Trips. Join NBC Sports Philadelphia and Philly Sports Trips for the ultimate fan experience. Lock in your spot today and be a part of the Birds Takeover in Kansas City. It's the weekend of September 13th through the 16th. Rematch of the Super Bowl. Game is going to be electric. We already know that. We can't wait for those Birds, and we can't wait for that game. Book now. All right, Kaner, mark your calendars. We're heading down to the shore for a Phillies watch party. Join us in our favorite spot, Sea Isle City, on August 12th to watch the Phillies face the Reds with raffles, special guests, and more. This one should be fun, huh?
Oh, man. Down the shore, Phillies baseball, things heating up. And you can't go wrong in Sea Isle, Spence, at least from my experience. I don't know if you could say the same. But,
I can definitely say the same.
Always a fun time down there. So, absolutely, I'm in, man. Count me in.
Yeah, mark your calendars. That'll be coming up here on August 12th. Fun stuff with the trade deadline. I mean, we've seen guys on the move. And now, to be honest, we've talked about it on previous podcasts. Heck, we talked about it in like May that Eugenio Suarez is a name. And now the fact that name is the most linked to the Phillies is surprising to me. And we've seen some of the rumors come out of the Brewers and the Yankees, what they kind of want, what the Diamondbacks want to return. Supposedly it's a Major League Baseball player, somebody on the Major League roster, and a pair of AAA pitchers.
Interesting.
So that's tough.
Okay.
If you're the Phillies and you want Suarez, which I still don't know if that's the right answer, it would be great. But it's a really interesting way to kind of put some of these packages together if you're the Phils. And I just can't believe that Suarez is one of these guys now that you're talking about possibly becoming a Philadelphia Philly.
Yeah, he's having a great year, and there seems to be a lot of smoke out there linking the Phillies and Eugenio to a potential trade. Interesting what you just mentioned, a major league ready player and a couple AAA pitchers. Now, if they acquire Suarez, who may not be here long term, but certainly will be here to the end of this year. Is Alec Bohm part of the deal that goes that way? And then is Mick Abel and another AAA pitcher? Because if that's the case, I think a lot of people around here be like, yep, I'm cool with that. Like I don't think it's a secret they were trying to trade Bohm over the winter. They didn't find any takers. Now, would it be shocking if 4 months later they try to include him in a trade? No, I don't think so. Like to me, like the idea of Alec Bohm being traded, like, no, I'm fine with Alec Bohm. I think he's developed into a nice defensive third baseman. His numbers are his numbers. He's going to be a guy that hits 280, is going to drive in some runs, not going to hit as many home runs as people probably would like. But you have a chance to get Suarez, who is a 40 home run guy almost already, who can really provide a nice right-handed power bat to the Phillies lineup behind Bryce Harper, behind that top three of Turner, Schwarber, Harper. Yeah, I get it. And, if you acquire him, are you going to, if Bohm isn't in the deal, do you plug Suarez in? Do you use him as your DH? I found it interesting that Schwarber was in left field yesterday. That's, timing wise. Let's try to get him a couple more reps, because if we make a trade for Suarez and Bohm's not involved, then we got too many infield pieces. Maybe Suarez becomes your DH, at least for a chunk of the time. And Kyle's got to play some left field because, left field isn't a really area right now where they're getting a whole lot of production. So that would be one option. So I'm in for a Eugenio Suarez. I think that's somebody that could really help their lineup. We'll see if it happens. I'm sure they're interested, but there'll be some suitors for him and the price will be pretty high. But if it entails major league player X, Alec Bohm, or Mick Abel, some combination of both and a third party, then I'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah, it's one of those guys, though. Again, I'm not trading Aiden Miller. I'm not trading. I wouldn't trade Alec Bohm. I wouldn't trade Alec Bohm for Eugenio Suarez. Okay. Here's the thing: you need a good bat.
Yeah.
This guy, man, he's out there. Ricky Bo's out there trying to smash helmets again, and it's distracting. But I think there's a guy like I think I mentioned on pods before. I'd rather have a guy in Alec Bohm where he's going to get you 260, 270, hopefully on a good year, with 15 to 20 home runs, but have 100 RBIs. Compared to a guy with Suarez, where he's going to give you 220, probably strike out double the amount of times that Bohm has, but he will give you that 40 home runs. And I know I'm kind of switching back because on the last pod I said we need that bat. We need a Rhys Hoskins-esque bat in this lineup if they want to succeed. I just don't know if Suarez is that guy, and I don't know if the asking point for what the Diamondbacks want in return, I don't know if it's that deep for the Phillies to give up that many prospects for a guy like Suarez. So it would be fun. We'll see, but I don't know, man. I feel like I'm coming to a head now where I want a deal to happen. I want a deal to happen so bad. But I just don't know what it could be. Like, I told you in the last podcast, there's not move the needle type of guys here, in my opinion. And I love the discussion of the bullpen stuff. I would almost rather, yes, the bullpen would be great. I think you need to attack the bullpen. However, we've seen this team, their last 3 seasons in the postseason, what has gone wrong for them? Their bat's gone cold, and you need someone to step up in that lineup. So it is an interesting discussion. What would your package look like for Suarez if you were Dave Dombrowski right now?
Bohm, Abel. If what you said was right, if they're looking for a major league player. Now, I'm not saying get rid of Bohm, like if they want somebody else besides Bohm, but I just think if you're trading for Suarez, who, by the way, is a free agent next year.
That's exactly right.
You got to factor that into the plans of if you're going to get this guy, is it just going to be for a couple months, or are you confident maybe you can re-sign him? Bohm, Abel, and any other AAA pitcher not named Andrew Painter would be fine by me.
Yep.
I'm with you. I don't think for a rental you give up Aiden Miller or you give up Justin Crawford. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
We were talking in our last podcast about the potential Clase, Quan, Miller, Rooker, guys that are at least under club control for a while, where then I would certainly consider giving up some of those top tier prospects. I'm not giving up Painter regardless, but I wasn't as attached to Miller and Crawford as you, but not for a rental, especially a guy you don't know you're gonna be able to re-sign. So Bohm, Abel, and AAA pitcher X for
even throwing
Eugenio, I'm in.
Throwing like Dante Nori. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was your first round pick a couple years ago. Who
Yeah.
knows how he's going to pan out? But yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
And speaking of Painter, I know I saw there's a rumor that the Phillies were talking with the Twins for Yohan Duran. There has been conversations, but supposedly the Twins want Painter.
Right.
No,
I can't see that happening. Yeah.
There's no way in hell
Yeah.
that I'm giving up Andrew Painter for Yohan Duran.
No, Duran's solid, obviously, but no, I wouldn't give up Painter for him either. I don't know, man. It's interesting.
It's tough, right? Like
you got to give up something.
There's 3 days here that we're sitting away, and obviously we'll have a little trade deadline special on Thursday. But I mean, I just don't know. It's tough, man, because like then you look at other potential targets: Suarez, Quan, Adolis Garcia, who I'm high on. Taylor Ward.
But they're starting to play now, the Rangers.
They are.
Like they're surging.
Finally.
So I can't imagine that they would be looking to trade him unless they're blown away by an offer.
Correct. And I saw another like prediction. I forget. It might have been on USA Today. I don't know if it was Nightingale or not, but I saw like predictions, and it said Sir Anthony returning to the Phils, Ramon Laureano to the Phils, and possibly Luis Robert.
Okay. Yeah, Robert, interesting with them playing the White Sox this week.
I'd bring back Sir Anthony.
Yeah. Soto just got dealt. I saw
to the Mets. Yep. There's been some trades, man. It's heating up here.
Trade. Interesting. Sir Anthony reunion. So just what the people are clamoring for to fix this pen, Sir Anthony and Dave Robertson. Get the band back together.
Just get the band back together. Hey, we're running it back. They've ran it back now for 3 years. Why not bring in some guys? Dude? Yeah. And then just bring up Garrett. Just do it. Just bring up Garrett for the fun.
It'll be interesting what they do. Like, I think it's certainly a seller's market, especially when it comes to relievers. It'll be interesting. I'd be shocked if they don't add. You mentioned Duran. You mentioned, we talked about Mason Miller. We mentioned about there's a handful of guys that are going to be available. I think the Phillies will do everything. It might, come down to Thursday, and we'll see how it all pans out. But they got to get another bullpen arm. We talked a ton about starters are going to move to the pen in the postseason, which I still think will happen, but you can't just bank on that. You got to get somebody, that proven guy, back end of the bullpen guy that can not lock down some big outs for you in September and October.
Yeah, because we can sit here and say that the starters right now who have remained dominant, they'll carry this team, and the offense will get hot, and they can carry that into the postseason, and you'll have a 6-2 lead going into the 8th inning, and you'll have Strom and Kirkering to shut it down. In a perfect world, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
In a realistic world, that might not be the case. We've seen it happen in the last 3 postseasons where either starters fail or this lineup goes cold at the wrong time. We'll figure it out. Now, last question about the deadline that I want to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of conversation. We even had the conversation here with some of the guys in the office. Are you like in my opinion, you're not giving up Aiden Miller, you're not giving up Justin Crawford, you're not giving up Andrew Painter. Now, there's a lot of talk of not giving up Eduardo Tate.
Interesting.
Are you on the bandwagon of keeping Tate? Tait?
Tait,
are you? Yes.
Eduardo Tait. Yep.
Are you the catcher? He's 19.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I know all about him. He just got bumped up to Jersey Shore, I believe. Yeah, obviously super young, but they think very highly of him. It plays into the JT timeline. JT's starting to hit right now. I think I wouldn't be shocked if they re-sign JT, and it probably won't be a 1-year deal. I'm sure JT wants multiple years.
Yes.
So then obviously JT's in his mid-30s, so you can't count on JT for more than a couple more years. By that point, Tait's 21, 22. It seemed to be a logical kind of succession plan if you can buy a few more JT years, and then Tait's ready to roll. Yeah, I'd be hesitant to give him up, to answer your question.
Okay.
I mean, it's such a valuable position. They seem really high on him. Now, you give him up for the right guy. You could go get a catcher in free agency. Certainly, that's not impossible to do, whether it's this year or next, to kind of, get ready for life after JT. But yeah, it'd have to be for the right person to include. It had to be an impact arm, impact bat, big time for me to include Tait in a trade right now, just because I think he is so valuable positionally, and JT's not going to be here forever. They're going to need a catcher, and he seems to be that heir apparent that's coming up the system pretty quick now. He's in high A.
Yeah, and I know there's rumors of him possibly even becoming a first baseman too.
Okay.
Who knows? But obviously, a lot of people are still unhappy that they let go of Logan O'Hoppe.
Yeah.
Obviously, that wouldn't have worked out here with JT still playing the way that he's playing. Like you mentioned, he's heating up at the right time.
Yep.
Here in 2025. But I don't know, man. That's a guy. If you're gonna get someone that's gonna really, really help this team, I'm not saying that's a Suarez. I'm not saying, I don't know, a Duran. I would do it for Duran.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not giving up Andrew Painter for Duran. I'm giving up. I would give up Eduardo Tait for Duran. I would love. I mean, because you need someone like that. But it is tough because he is 19. It's a whole thing, and yeah, you have to worry about life after JT. However, you mentioned, I think there's a lot of catchers that you can just go out there and sign in free agency for a cheap deal. Because obviously, Rafael Marchand, we expected a lot more out of Rafael Marchand this year that we've gotten. It hasn't been his best season. It's not helping that JT even just. There was multiple questions of Rob Thompson this weekend of, hey, JT's getting an off day. He's going to get an off day. Never happened. Because he's swinging it well. I wouldn't take him out of the lineup either. So it is tough. I don't know. In my opinion, I think you'd let go of him because there is catchers in free agency that you can just pull off whatever, and he'll be serviceable. Whoever that could be. I don't know, someone like a Martin Maldonado or someone like that. So that's my opinion. I'd get rid of Tait. Sorry.
No,
Tait. For the right deal. For Sir Anthony, I don't know. So, all right, man. Let's transition just real quick. We'll wrap up here. Fun weekend in the Bronx. I even put on the little YouTube thumbnail like Bronx Bombers ? Because that first two games were amazing. 21 runs in the first two games. Even with, starting pitch and I mean, I was very proud of Taijuan Walker on Friday night on the Apple TV game. I thought he was serviceable.
Did a great job.
Especially he came out for the 6th inning there, and I was a little shocked. But he was only at 67 pitches. I mean, he lit up 2 solo home runs. That's fine. As long as no one's on base. And it helped that the Phillies ended up smashing. I mean, there's not much to say about Kyle Schwarber anymore than we already have. He picks up his 1,000th career hit. He picks up his 500th career extra base hit. And then Bryce joins the party with his 350th home run. Just a lot of fun, man, and a weekend in the Bronx.
Yeah, the offense, if you factor in that last game against the Red Sox, I think they had 10 home runs over a 3-game period. You mentioned the amount of runs they scored, in the first 2 games against the Yankees, and they had 8 in that series finale against the Red Sox. So, yeah, the offense heating up. Schwarber, great. And obviously in yesterday's loss, the offense wasn't great, but Otto Kemp was certainly a silver lining. Couple home runs for him. Wheeler wasn't himself. But, yeah, the pitching, Walker did his job, and the offense, JT had a big home run on Friday night. Kyle had a couple homers. Bryce had the home run on Saturday, and they kind of blew it open there with Edmundo Sosa had a big home run, and Schwarber had a 2-run double late in that game in the 7th inning. So, yeah, the pitching I thought on Friday with Walker and Ranger, I think on Saturday, I think Ranger had a pretty good bounce back outing after he struggled against the Angels the previous weekend. So that was encouraging.
There's a lot of velocity talk about Ranger, too. A lot of velocity talk, and I loved his answer. He was asked about his velocity. He said, hey, I would love to throw harder if I could. But I am just not that type of pitcher. He uses command. He uses his pinpoint accuracy. He uses his breaking balls to his advantage. And they were working. 7 hits, whatever it is. But I thought, I completely agree with you. A lot of people were worried about Ranger. I was proud of his bounce back start on Saturday.
No, it's something you definitely take notice of as it continues to dip. And, he's at 89, 90 instead of 91, 92, 93. But he has demonstrated the ability to get people out without peak velocity. He works batters by location, by pitch speed, keeps people off balance. So, yeah, he's a pitcher. He's like a pitcher in every sense of the word. So it is a little something you take notice of, but nothing to me that's a giant concern right now. And, yeah, I think, Wheeler just wasn't sharp on Sunday, just had that one rough inning. The first inning was great. He threw like 5 pitches. You're like, oh, boy, he's gonna mow these guys down. And then he just gets himself in trouble. And his was a lack of command. He's walking guys, hitting guys. I think he hit 3 guys, which is crazy. So, yeah, I just think one of those days for Zach, although, he wasn't at his sharpest against the Red Sox. And then if you go back before the break, San Diego, he was just okay. So hopefully, that's just kind of a stretch of some average to above average. And we talk about that Red Sox start like he scuffled. He still had like 10 strikeouts and no walks. Now granted, he gave up some hits and whatever else, but he still will take that outing any day. So, so we'll see. And Chris Sanchez going as we sit here a few hours from now, Monday night in Chicago, coming off his complete game. So expect him to have his way with this White Sox lineup. But, yeah, fun weekend. It's nice to see him win a couple series in a row against the Red Sox, Yankees. Now, hopefully they can kind of carry that over against the worst team in the American League, the White Sox, who they've been playing a little better. I think they're 6-3 since the break. But a series I think the Phillies should win, get their 3rd straight series win, then come home to take on the Tigers and the Orioles. Later this week, Tigers coming to town. I think Scooble's on Friday night.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. But yeah, so win the series against Chicago and follow up a couple nice series wins over Boston and New York.
We'll take it. And I just hope they don't go to Chicago where there's 5,000 people a night. they are playing a little bit better baseball, so look out. But I just go in there and handle business. Don't take it like a Miami series where you go down there and you kind of scuffle because it's not what you're used to, 44,000 a night at CBP. Go in there and just handle business, just like you did in Yankee Stadium. I mean, that was beautiful to see that they just dominated that Yankees team and kind of sent Yankees fans into an oblivion in terms of what's going on with that team. I'm glad we're not having to worry about them, but just go in and handle business. I think that's the main way. And like you said, so we got Sanchez on Monday here, Luzardo on Tuesday, and Taiwan on Wednesday.
Luzardo, big start. Like, let's get it together here after that Boston meltdown in the fifth inning.
And the stretch, the windup, the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Go in there. And he said that it's been, 3 or 4 times that we've seen post game now where he's like, hey, I'm working hard. No one's working harder than me to figure this out.
Right.
Let's see something on Tuesday night. That'd be a lot helpful.
Agree.
So,
for
this team. But yeah, hey man, fun week, fun weekend.
Big week
coming
up.
Too.
Big 3 days coming up.
It's gonna be a big 3 days, and hopefully we will. We'll talk to you guys on Thursday, a little trade deadline special, hopefully, and it should be fun. I mean, things are moving fast, and I think the market's gonna heat up, and I think Thursday's gonna be nuts, dude. I think it's gonna be kind of like your small trades here and there for the next 3 days, and I think Thursday comes. I think we could see a lot of movement around Major League Baseball, and hopefully with the Phillies for the right price. If I get a notification,
ship out the prospects.
If I get a notification,
send them all out.
That it's funny. So real quick too, we'll wrap up. The Cole Hamels Philly Classic, the watch along with Cole was incredible. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Casey Feeney. It was awesome. If you missed it, go check it out. It's all over YouTube. It's all over our social channels. However, I saw a tweet. Someone took a screenshot of the Cole trade when he went to the Rangers 4 days after that no-hitter in 2015.
That returned well.
And that return was a bunch of prospects, including Jorge Alfaro, I believe, was on that.
So it was a good haul at the time. Everybody was happy with the job Ruben did. That was kind of like the last move Ruben made before they let him go.
Right.
And, it was Jorge Alfaro, Nick Williams, Jake Thompson, I believe, was in that deal. There was a major league player like Matt Harrison maybe was in that deal.
There was like 6.
Yeah. And Williams, Alfaro, and Jake Thompson, people were like, oh, okay, cool. These are like 3 guys that are going to be in our top 10 to 15 prospects. And Nick Williams and Alfaro had type of those guys are going to be regular everyday players for us. And it's something exactly. Prospects, no matter what you think of them, when you acquire them, they don't always pan out. Just like the prospects that Ruben traded away. He finally traded away Kyle Drabek.
Yep.
Oh, you can't trade away Kyle Drabek. And he gave him up in the Roy Halladay deal.
Yep.
Kyle Drabek.
Yep.
Dominic Brown. He's untouchable. Dominic Brown. Nice guy. Dominic Brown had a great year, half a year in 2013, but you just don't know. You don't know how guys are going to pan out. If you have an opportunity to get Roy Halladay, or in the Rangers case, Cole Hamels, and give up the guys they gave to the Phillies, then you do it. That's why I'm probably a little more pro ship out the prospects than you. And that's no offense to Aiden Miller or Justin Crawford. But only Andrew Painter is untouchable, in my opinion, these next 3 days.
It's fun. I'm stuck in the middle. I'm very stuck in the middle.
Yeah.
Especially I saw that graphic and I was like, oh man, you're right. But I don't know, man. I think Aiden Miller is the truth, and I get it. This is the win now time. For the right price. The right price. You go get Mike Trout.
Yeah.
We'll talk. But for, I don't know, Taylor Ward.
Taylor Ward had a big series here the other weekend.
He did.
No, I know.
Taylor Ward would be so much fun.
Yeah.
But is that similar to an Austin Hayes move? Yes.
Oh,
very similar in my opinion.
I don't know.
Very similar in my opinion. So Dave Dombrowski's got a job on his hands, man. And I'm glad we're not in his shoes, but I'm glad we get to cover it.
Yes.
So,
should be a fun week.
It should be a really fun week. Thanks for listening. Like I said, keep an eye out for a little trade deadline special on Thursday. Hopefully even live reacting as the deadline comes to a close is what the goal should be here. Cool. So we'll rock from there. But for Sean Kane, I'm Spencer McKercher. Have a good week. Keep an eye out for those deals, and hopefully the Phillies can take care of business against the White Sox in Chicago.